Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. In our color mixing series today, we are focusing on the color brown and yellow. So let's jump right in. Okay, so to start, I'm gonna go through my materials. I'm using my Etchr Lab Watercolor Cold Press Sketchbook today. I have my Princeton snap brushes in a size 12 and a size 6 round. And then I have my Winsor Newton Cotman watercolors in my palette. I have dioxazine purple, permanent rose, turquoise, ultramarine blue, hooker's green dark, sap green, cadmium yellow, and cadmium red deep. And my water and my paper towel, and we're ready to go. Okay, so today we are talking about the colors yellow and brown, and I'm gonna show you how to mix different shades of both, and then we're gonna create a composition using both. Okay, so the first one we're gonna talk about is yellow. So we have cadmium yellow in our palette here. And I'm just gonna swatch it for you. It's a nice bright yellow. It has a little bit of an orangey tint to it. So it's not like a lemon yellow. It's a bit on the orangier side, but I really like this color and I don't usually have a problem with mixing it. And then remember, if we wanna make a shade lighter, all you have to do is, sorry, my water's already dirty, dip it in your water, run it against the side, and you get a lighter wash of it. Wanna go lighter? Do it again. And you have a really nice pale yellow. Okay, so you already have 3 shades of yellow right there by using one shade of paint or one color of paint. Okay, so now let's talk about mixing yellows. So I'm going to throw some yellow in my palette, like that. And the first kind of yellows that we're gonna mix are a bit more on the orangier side. So there's so many ways you can do this, but let's do it. Okay, so I'm gonna grab a tiny bit of cadmium red, and I'm gonna mix it here just a little bit. And you can see you get kind of this orangier yellow. Now, if I wanted to make that a bit rustier, I would add reds, contrasting or complementary colors. Now we're gonna be talking about this wheel a lot today and contrasting colors. Now to make a color brown or muted, add its contrasting color. So yellow's contrasting color is purple, green and red, orange and blue. So I'm gonna add red's contrasting color, which is green, to make this a bit rustier because we have a bit of red in there. So I'm just gonna grab a tiny bit of hooker's green dark. Like that. And you have a bit more of a rustier yellow, almost like a yellow ochre. Okay, and then you can always make it a little bit more on the red side, like a deeper yellow orange. Kind of just orange, that one. But yeah, depending on how much of each color you use, you can change it. So let's try mixing yellow and green. So while still maintaining that yellow color, you're just gonna take a little bit of green. So I have hooker's green dark. I'm just taking the littlest bit, like that. And almost turns it into this like lime yellowy green. Okay, let's try and mix it with sap green, which is a bit brighter. Nice. And I usually like to use this color for buds that haven't really bloomed yet. Okay, so we have that. Let's grab some more cadmium yellow here. Now we know if we mix it with blue and yellow make green. So if you just want to do the same kind of thing like these, you can either add green or add a little bit of blue and you get the same kind of thing. Or you can add a bit of pink and get the same kind of reddish orange mix. Again, you could add a little bit of blue or green to that to make it a bit rustier. So many ways you can go with this. Okay, but they all have that yellow undertone. And then the last thing we're gonna do is purple and yellow. So purple and yellow are contrasting colors. And what we're gonna talk about with the brown, if you wanna make brown, you use half of each contrasting color. So you would make half green, half red, put it together, you get brown. Half purple, half yellow, together, make brown. Half blue, half orange, together, make brown. Okay, but if you want to mute a color or dull it down, you just have to add a little bit of its contrasting color. So I wanna maintain this yellow color, but mute it a bit. I'm gonna add a tiny bit of purple. And again, it kind of makes that yellow ochre rust color. Okay. So that's different ways that you can mix yellow, tons and tons of different ways. Now, like I said with brown, we just talked about that, mixing complementary colors. So let's just jump in and start doing that. So yellow and purple's complementary, yellow is purple's yellow is purple's complementary color. So I'm gonna throw my yellow there, try to add half a purple, and you get this light kind of brown, okay? Let's try and mix red and green. I'm gonna grab green first. Doesn't matter which one you grab first. A little bit of red, or a half of red. And you get another brown. Very different than the yellow and purple, okay? And you can always make the shade of brown different. So if I wanted to add a bit more red, it would be more of a reddish brown. Okay, again, it changes it. Add a bit more green. It's more of like an earthy, cooler brown. Okay, same with that yellow and purple. So you can make it a bit darker with a bit more purple, or you can make it lighter with the yellow. And then the last combination would be the blue and orange. So we don't have orange here, but we just make it with yellow and red. So let's just make it a bit more vibrant here. And then depending on what blue we have, it's gonna change it. So I'm gonna grab blue here. This was the ultramarine blue. It makes it a bit more of a grayish brown. And you can always change that by adding more yellow and red. Okay, again, it changes the brown. Or let's grab another orange. Let's do turquoise. This one kind of turns it a bit more green, but if we add a bit more red, you get that brown color. Okay, so there's tons of different shades of brown and yellow. One of the ways I like to make brown too is mixing all the primary colors together and going a bit heavier on purple. So let's just mix everything we have in here and just start throwing colors together. So I really like red, dioxazine purple, maybe a bit of ultramarine blue, yellow. I like it a bit heavier on the purple side, makes it a bit darker. Darken it up with some green, a bit more green, a bit of blue. Let's just mix all these colors. And you should get black, but you can just tweak it to get a bit more. Yeah, this is more on the black side. Just keep adding there. You add a bit more yellow, you get brown. You get this nice, really dark brown. And I like this for the center of sunflowers, which is what we're actually going to paint today. So there we go. We've mixed our yellows and our browns. And let's get into painting some flowers. Okay, so we're going to paint a sunflower, and this is actually a painting that is in my newest watercolor workbook in my Etsy shop. It is a digital workbook, and it's coming out on the 15th, but I do a bunch of new fall florals, and one of them is a sunflower, which we're going to do right now. So if you want to pick up a copy, September 15th, it will be out in my Etsy shop. It's a digital workbook. All right, let's do this. So I'm just going to grab some cadmium yellow, and I'm going to start doing these kind of wispy petal shapes. So I'm going to do light pressure, go a bit down to heavy pressure, and then back up with light pressure like that. And I'm going to continue to do these kind of petals just going around. Curve your brush a bit when you do the heavy pressure. So light pressure, curve, and heavy pressure, light pressure, curve back up. Okay, and it just kind of gives a little bit of movement to those petals. I'm gonna do one down here, up here, and then when I get over to this side, I'm gonna make them shorter and flatter. It's gonna be a side kind of perspective of this sunflower. Now I'm gonna make a bit more of an orangey tone. So I'm just adding a bit of red. And I'm gonna go in between those petals. Maybe a bit more. Just to create two different tones to make it look a little bit more interesting. Like that. Okay, like so. And now we have this center and we're going to put in some brown. So my biggest tip for this is the brown is going to bleed a little bit into these petals. So you don't want a lot of water and a lot of pigment on your brush. So I suggest washing your brush off first, then drying it, then going in here. Because if you add too much, it's gonna bleed a little bit too much and then it will be uncontrollable and you'll have to mop it up and start again. So let's see if I get the right amount. So I'm just gonna do the center here with that really dark brown. As you see, it's bleeding into the petals a little bit. If it starts bleeding a lot like this, all you have to do is blot it like that with your paper towel. Go back over, wash off your brush, dry it, go back in with your yellow or orange. And there you go, and you fixed it, okay? Because it does happen, but just try to be mindful of how much water and pigment you have on your brush. I'm just gonna add a bit more orange to this brown, like that. It also might be helpful to use a smaller brush. Okay, so there's one sunflower. I think I'm gonna do another, let's do a different flower. Let's do kind of like a really light yellowy flower. I'm just gonna grab some cadmium yellow over here and I'm gonna water it down. We'll do kind of like a magnolia type of flower. So a big petal this way, big petal this way, making it really nice and light. You can even add a little bit of green to it to get kind of like a limey shade. Another big petal. One down here. And I'm just making the petals kind of jagged at the edges. I don't want them to be perfect. And then like a shorter petal here, so it's like a side perspective thing again. Okay, and I'm gonna grab a bit more yellow, a bit of green. I'm just gonna tap it towards the center to make it a bit darker. Maybe add a little bit of darkness to some of the outer corners. Like that. Okay. And then I think I'm just gonna grab this brown in here, just mix it with that yellow. I'm just going to just add a center. I don't even know really what flower I'm actually doing or what the center would look like. Let's have a branch kind of connecting it. Like this. Okay. And I think I want a little bit more green in there. Just gonna add little taps of green like that. Now let's do a little bit of greenery. So I'm gonna grab some green, mix it with my yellow to make it nice and lemony. And I'm gonna go in between, actually a bit more darker green for the sunflower. I'm gonna go in between some of these petals for the sunflower. And then I'll have some leaves coming off of this one, this branch. I have the stem of the sunflower coming back behind here. Maybe a big leaf. Grabbing some Hooker's Green Dark. Like that. Maybe we can do a nice little light yellow bud. So again, a little bit of green up here, like it would be blooming soon, and then tap the bottom with green. Like that. A little bit of brown. I think I want it a bit darker in the center here. There. Okay, there's so many ways you could go with this. You could create little daisies, whatever works for you. I know these two flowers don't really seem to go together, but that's fine. It's not a big deal. Showing you different types of flowers you can do. Okay, and there you go. So you could do like a little sunflower bouquet or whatever you want, but that is basically how you mix browns and yellows. Thank you all so much for watching my video. I really hope you liked it and I hope you learned something. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and follow me on Instagram and Facebook for even more. Have a great day, guys. Bye.